At the time, the company I was working for was changing their model, so they weren't providing the services like we were used to. And so I had a few people that had asked me to be an advisor or a VC that asked if I could, spend some time with them. And so when I was freeing up, it was very quickly my time was taken by them. And so I just, pretty quickly had some contracts, and that was great. And then we just started getting more and more contracts. We meaning me, the royal we.
I love it. I love it. No, we do that
I
as
was
business
getting
owners.
these contracts, and so realized that I needed some help, and so had some really good friends that were in the industry that decided to do this with me at first, and so then it's just kind of grown as needed. So it's just been really organic. And again, a lot of people have a really baked in, thoughtful plan, and mine was just more of a this is opportunistic, and it happened to work out really well.
I love it. I mean, I could not agree more. I've been in business for 12 years and
Hmm.
three, if not four businesses, never had a plan.
Never had a plan. It's
Never
like you
had a
have a
plan.
good idea, and you're like, let's see how this
Let's
goes.
try this. Let's try
Yeah,
this. That didn't work. I'll
totally.
try something else.
That's right. That's exactly right. And those are the best
Oh,
founders to work with sometimes too, because they just know that they're passionate about their idea and they're not quite sure how to do it, but they're game to try. That's
yeah.
fun.
Oh, I love it. I love it. So 2016, that
Mhm.
means what, like 8 years already in
Yeah.
business?
9. Yeah.
9? Oh my
Mhm.
gosh, that's
Yeah.
incredible. How has the landscape changed over that time?
Mm.
I mean, we had the big pandemic in the middle there, like, how have
Yes.
you seen things change?
Yeah, COVID, obviously, look, COVID hit every company in different ways. I think we were going from this high growth, um, not necessarily us, but helping founders in these high growth stages. There was a lot of VC funding that was happening.
Mm,
It was really exciting at the time. And then obviously COVID hit, a period of like crazy uncertainty. No one had any idea. And it was really interesting how many founders were turning to us and saying, well, what do we do in this case?
mm.
We're like, oh no, you haven't seen it, but neither have we. We don't, it's not like we've gone through pandemic
This hasn't
school. We
happened
don't
before.
know.
Yeah, yeah.
No, we don't
Pandemic
know.
school, I love
No.
that.
So we were just kind of making things up, and we spent a lot of time researching and just trying to absorb any bit of information. The amount of time we spent just following the CDC and understanding guidelines and putting communication plans together. And just a total shift from what we were doing. Luckily, I had a great team who, they were obviously personally impacted by COVID, but they were really excited to help our companies get through it. And then it just kept going. COVID just kept
Yeah.
going. And so it changed a lot of things, right? We had to focus on people working from home, and now like how do we bring on them back? And so there's been a lot of just change through that time. And here, at least, not to take it on some sort of weird political turn, but election years are always a strange time, and so we're kind
Of
of in that
course.
right now, and that will cause some anxiety and uncertainty with employees and founders and VCs. So that whole funding cycle has been really strange recently. So we're spending a lot of time supporting founders just through another crazy time, but we're super optimistic for next year. I just think hopefully things will settle. Don't want to jinx it, but things will settle, and we'll just kind of be on the right track to have all these companies just continue to grow and scale.
Yeah, I love that. I mean, it's really interesting. I think there's always something,
Mhm.
yes, the pandemic was huge. Obviously, when you go through an election year, that's huge. But I mean, I just feel like there is always something. There's new changes in guidelines, social
Sure.
media wreaks havoc. People don't want to come back to the office. There is always
Hmm.
something. I feel like as business owners, it just makes so much sense to have, we can't do everything. We can't know everything. We can't research everything. Having someone on your team whose role is to actually
Sure.
understand the landscape, how things have changed, what the
Hmm.
implications for your team are. It just makes so much sense to have someone like you in the business, kind of
Thank you.
being that support and that It's really interesting as a business owner, you are kind of, it is lonely. It is, you do feel like you're in it alone. So having that kind of
Yeah.
person who's invested in your growth and your team's success, I think is really exciting.
I think, the other thing too that we found to be helpful is just being able to tell a founder, hey, you're not even the only client we have right now that's going through this. Like the way you're
Mm,
feeling, the things that you're struggling with, the imposter syndrome, the just stress of everything, everything we just talked about.
yeah.
I've talked to 2 or 3 other people about this week. So it's common, it's normal. And so I think just hearing that they're not alone, just even just talking to me, I think sometimes makes people feel like, oh, okay, maybe I'm not doing everything wrong or different. It's just stressful. It's stressful being a founder for sure.
Yeah. It is so
That
stressful
said,
being,
it's the best.
yeah. I mean, it's funny because it's like, even when it's good times, it's stressful.
Yes, that's absolutely right. I mean, even in the best of times, there are so many things keeping you up at night.
Mhm.
Always.
Yeah, it's really interesting. So, how have you personally grown your business? You mentioned, things were getting busier, you're bringing on new
Mhm.
team members. Have you actively gone out into market to grow the business? And if you have, what's worked for you?
Yeah, more recently we've had to do that, or maybe gotten to do that. Prior, it was mainly word of mouth. So I just had, thankfully, luckily, I had a pretty good network of founders and advisors and VCs that would just bring us in when when either they needed support personally or someone that they knew in their network or one of their portfolio companies. Obviously, the market's changed, and I think a lot of the network that I have is outside of some of the new emerging tech. So like
Mhm.
AI, there's not a lot of people in my network that has like a deep um, wealth either of knowledge or network. And so having to build that in interesting ways has been fun. And it's been helpful that it's been after people are now getting back in person and doing things. So the muscle memory that I had from before is coming back of going to networking events. I mean, everything's shut down for so long.
Mm,
So having, getting the opportunity to do those things, obviously podcasts are huge. And so being able to meet people like you and just talk about not only my experience, but other founder experiences has been helpful. And we're just learning. We're learning how to do it all the time because so many things just keep changing.
yeah.
It's just a matter of how many things you want to try to keep up with.